Hello there guys, Ericana here, the Donny fan for Forever Football DRFC, your Doncaster Rovers fan channel. This is your match day preview for Doncaster's home game against Accrington Stanley. Who are they? Well, they're a bit of a threat. We'll be talking all about that, but firstly, before we get started with anything, massive shout out to two amazing shows. First of all, I did a show live last night on Lee Charles TV, the Blackpool fan. So massive shout out to him, to Cod's Vlogs, to Dawn, the Forest fan, Chef Wednesday fan as well. I can't remember your name, I'm really sorry, but lovely to speak to you as well. And also to Ryan Dunbar's dad, SBFL Through the Lens, who's an up-and-coming YouTube channel, doing analysis on particularly Scottish football. So, yeah, they all came on the show, and it was lovely to be a part of that show. Shout out to 18 Dapper, you know, he was usually on that show, but I got to be on there that week because he was unavailable, so massive shout out to the show. And secondly, as always, massive shout out to Terry and the Football Terrace. Shout out to Kendall, the Newcastle fan, brilliant person to speak to on and off camera. David and Jem, the Chelsea fans, lovely to speak to you as well. And it's lovely to be on that show. It's always nice to be on the Football Terrace. And also, shout out to Robbie, because, you know, he spoke about going on to this channel in a video on AFTV. So it was a quick mention, but along with other channels, but it's still nice to get that mention. So massive shout out to him as well. So, going into this then, we do have a few stories to get through leading into this preview, and the main big story is on Gavin Baldwin's disappointment over the majority of funding going to bigger League One clubs. Now, yeah, you heard that right. You heard that right. Rick Parry, in charge of the EFL, is disgracing the game once again. So we're going to be talking all about that and things like that. So, you know, we've got all of that leading into the preview where we're going to look at predicted lineup. You can already see on your screen. We're going to look at the predicted scoreline at the end of the video as well. But let's get straight into this. We're not going to waste any more time. So basically, Gavin Baldwin has said the League One club were left with a significant six-figure shortfall after receiving less support from a Premier League rescue package than expected. So at the beginning of December, for a bit of context, the EFL and the top flight agreed a £250 million package to support clubs struggling with the financial impact of COVID. Championship clubs were given access to a £200 million loan facility, while those in Leagues 1 and 2 were provided with £50 million. It wasn't the same as the Championship, it wasn't a little bit less than the Championship, it was way less than the Championship, and this is where the problems lie in football. £30 million of that was distributed by a calculation based on division and lost gate receipts, with another £20 million available, wish it was 200, in the form of a monitor grant which clubs could apply for based in need. However, Baldwin said in an update on the Rovers Club website, the funding the South Yorkshire club received fell short of their initial expectations, and claimed that many of their League One rivals have been given more as a result of the calculations. Or, to put it in my own personal thoughts, Doncaster Rovers have not been given as much money as they should have got, because other clubs in League One want to get back to the Premier League, and the Premier League's like, sure, let's help you out. Let's get you to the Premier League more than fairy tale stories can. Let's remove the fairy tale aspect of football, and we'll put the predictability factor back into the game. It's a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Rick Parry, you moronic toolcase. At the end of December, says Gavin Baldwin, we received our rescue package from the EFL and Premier League, and we were grateful for the support. Sadly, we did not receive as much as we were told to expect, with the majority of funds going to bigger teams in League One. This ultimately left a club with a significant six-figure shortfall, what we were expecting. Baldwin added the scale of captain Ben Whiteman last month to Championship side Preston was so important as a result. Oh, Jesus Louise. The deal provided with Ben provided the club with valuable funds immediately, and there was opportunity for those monies to increase in the future. The funds have been invested back into the first team, but also helped to provide much needed financial security in the midst of the ongoing pandemic. Despite consecutive defeats, can I just remind you, And apparently we're a small club, so we don't deserve as much money, but this is where we are in the table right now. Doncaster is still a point away from League One automatic promotion place in 5th, with up to 3 games in hand on fellow challengers, despite the consecutive defeats. We are still in a title race, and yet we are not a big enough club to receive just as big a funding as other clubs. Sorry, but that's disrespectful. That's like saying, how can we stop a smaller club like Doncaster Rovers from reaching a higher level? Or I know, let's give more money to the likes of Ipswich, Sunderland, Portsmouth, Hull, Charlton, the bigger teams, the ones with Premier League experience, and we'll leave all these other clubs in the dust. That is what the EFL are being run by, a former Premier League director called Rick Crime Parry. Crime in Football, that's his nickname. Crime in Football. That is his nickname. Rick Flaming Parry. You know, Rick Parry, Rick Deflect. Rick Deflect. I'm deflecting all your negativity and get out of our game. Go work in the Premier League as a financial advisor, and even then you probably screw that up. Absolute disgrace. I'm sure a lot of other clubs feel the same. The likes of Accrington, the likes of Plymouth, the likes of other teams that may have received less funds than they should have got. I'm sure they're going to be disappointed as well. Because other clubs, you know, Charlton's been run properly, Portsmouth's run properly now, as well as Charlton now. Hull, in my opinion, are still not run properly. Unless Sunderland get the takeover, they're not run properly. And yet they're getting the most money. How is that fair? Just because of a club's size and how much Premier League experience they've got, how is that fair? How is that fair? Absolute moronic tool case, Rick Parry. Get out of football. Get out. Let's go through a couple more stories before we get into predicted team lineup, which you're already seeing on the screen, but I'll go through why I've chosen those players in a little bit. We are monitoring the Charlie Seaman situation. Now, Maidstone United, and this explains the financial impact of COVID and just how these little clubs are struggling and why now, more than ever, we should be helping these clubs, giving them more money than the Premier League clubs get. Unbelievable. And this is why Maidstone United have had to place their contracted players on furlough in a bid to safeguard the future of the club. They might be a non-league club, but that doesn't mean they get treated like a piece of dirt or a piece of dog rubbish they found on the bottom of their shoe. It's not fair that the government's not giving enough. It's not fair that other people aren't helping. I don't know how far the nearest Premier League team is to Maidstone, but if you've got a little bit of money to spare, like 50 million at least, you know, stuff that, you know, money that you don't need, give it to a lower league club and help them. Any Premier League club that's close to Maidstone, I can't remember who's close to Maidstone in the Premier League, but give them some support, help them, be the example that you need to set for English football, because right now we're going on a dark path where the lower league game is going out, and we're going to be stuck with just Premier League teams, and the whole of the Football League will just become non-league divisions. You know, we're going to have a full non-league division, and then the only professional league will be the Premier League. That's the direction we're going in right now, and we need to stop that from happening. Someone who's close to Maidstone United as a Premier League club, be the bigger person, be the bigger club, and give support to Maidstone. Give support to your local rivals. You know, set your rivalries aside. Set your rivalries aside and help a club in need, because clearly they need it. It absolutely boils my button. It absolutely boils me. Absolutely boils me inside. The pledge to fulfil upcoming fixtures using non-contract players and loanees such as Seaman. And Rovers boss Darren Moore has confirmed he's happy for the 21-year-old to remain at Maidstone, though he says he will be reviewed regularly, just in case. He said in an official statement to the Free Press, we'll have to keep him there and we'll monitor it closely. It's something we'll look into at the end, and we're really looking at the situation really closely in terms of how it's developing. Because, of course, clubs in the National League have received no funding since the turn of the year, after confusion over the conditions of money being offered by the government. Again, keeping their money to their pockets and not helping those in need. Typical British government. Clubs were expecting to receive funds in the form of grants, but were later told they were, in fact, loans, so they're going to have to pay them back, which, why does that make sense? So again, another disgraceful situation, but Charlie Seaman's been doing very, very well at Maidstone. Keep him in the setup, keep him happy, keep monitoring him every week, and hopefully when he needs to come back, if he needs to come back before the end of the season, or he needs to come back next season, we'll bring him in. We'll bring him into the Doncaster setup. Hopefully he's a championship club, and we'll see the best of Charlie Seaman in that squad. Finally, got some updates leading into the team news. Tom Anderson will be available for action this weekend following the Football Association's concussion protocol. There is no side effects. That's the good thing. They have announced there is no side effects or reactions to the concussion injury suffered against Fleetwood. So, of course, he missed the Sunderland game where we lost 4-1. Don't remind me about that one. And that's a very popular viewed review, by the way, so thank you very much for all of you that viewed that. I was angry about that car horn, I'm not going to lie. But whoever owns the car horn, no bad feelings. It was just the horn that really ticked me off. But yeah, that's got a lot of views, so thank you very much for that. Really do appreciate you watching those videos. And, you know, obviously he missed that game. We missed him badly in that game. He will miss tomorrow's game against Accrington. He will miss that game. But hopefully he should be available against Hull, which is another crunch game. An absolute crunch game. If he's back in there for that, then we could have a better chance of winning that game. But of course we do have some other updates as well. So he will be available for Hull. He will miss Accrington at the Keepmoat. However, in terms of other team news, they've revealed a couple more players are carrying knocks, and those will be assessed in the run-up to Wednesday's game. I'm not too sure who's carrying knocks, but there we go. They said Coppinger may make his return to the squad for the first time in 6 weeks after continuing his recovery from the calf injury. So it looks like he's back in training with the group now, says Darren Moore. He's building up his fitness, and we'll look at the squad on Tuesday and we'll make arrangements off that. So maybe Coppinger could be available for the bench, but as you can see by the team behind me, he's not on the bench. But I could be wrong. And then Josh Sims played around 40 minutes against Sunderland, but he can now available, according to Moore, to cope with much longer on the pitch and potentially start games from this point. And again, that leads into my team predictions. So I think everything really plays on how fit can we keep our players. And that leads very nicely into explaining why I picked the team I picked. So we're going to go through this now. So, of course, Anderson's going to be out. Coppinger could be available, but I'm not taking any chances. He's not on the bench for me or in the starting 11. Sims is available, hopefully to start at this point. So you can see already he's in there. So let's go through this team. Balcom in goal. No surprises there. Playing the 4-2-3-1. Playing out from the back. Attacking football. High pressing football. Balcom is almost essential to that. You know, he did make a rookie mistake against Fleetwood. He couldn't do anything about the goals against Sunderland. Obviously, he made the 2 penalty saves in the win against Lincoln, and of course in the Oxford game, the second goal was deflected. First goal was a defensive mistake, so couldn't really do much about the Oxford goals. So in that win, to be fair. So overall, you know, apart from the rookie mistake against Fleetwood for the second goal involved in that Gomez pass back, you know, he's not exactly, you know, been the worst player we've had. You know, he's still young. He's still got time to develop. He's still got time to learn while he's here. And, you know, Balcom's a really essential point of this title charge now. So apart from that, he's made world-class saves game in, game out. So I got no surprises there. Back four. Now, this is... Some people are like, well, why is Halliday in there? There's no other option. I've got to go with Joe Wright, Captain Joe Wright, at centre-back with Andy Butler, and I've got to go Reece James on the left. Cameron John needs to be on the bench. I'm sorry, he needs to be on the bench. He needs to. He needs to get a rest. He needs time to watch the game from the sidelines and develop his talents at left-back if he's going to play in that position again. Or a centre-back as well. He needs to learn those traits and learn what he needs to do. He needs to take time out on the sidelines for a while, and I think this is the perfect game to leave him on the bench. And Hull as well. Learn off Reece James, learn off Butler and Wright, and then you also got Halliday at right back, which is our only option until Seaman comes back next season, hopefully. So, you know, that's the back line's, you know, explained. That's the reason why I've gone with that back four. Midfield, Gomez needed to be dropped. He needed to be on the bench. And I've got Bostock in there and I've got Smith. And the reason why I've gone with that is you have one player and the other one. Bostock, veteran, holding, midfielder, experienced, physical, can play the right passes, can play the through passes, get our attacks going, and he's perfect for that. Smith, box-to-box playmaker, very attacking, can go past the cam on multiple occasions, and he plays that perfect box-to-box playmaker role very, very well. And then in front of them at cam is Richards. Again, no surprises there. Physical, needed to start in my opinion, 110%, and hopefully he doesn't get substituted with about half an hour to go in this game. On the wing, starting off on the left, we've got Okunabiri. No surprises here. Taylor needs to get a rest. I know he scored. I know he got the goal against Fleetwood. I think, yeah, it was against Fleetwood, yeah. He got that first goal, which was completely against the run of play, but he just, in my personal opinion, you know, Taylor needs to get those minutes off the bench, just to get his confidence and his continuity and his consistent run of form back up and running. Some people could have said Lakilo instead of Okunabiri, or maybe Bogle out and Lakilo one at the wing and Okunabiri up front, but I'm going to explain about the Okunabiri-Bogle partnership when I speak about the striker. But Lakilo, in my opinion, is still young, still needs time to develop, even though he's been brilliant since he's come on the pitch. But he still needs minutes off the bench. So, but I think he'll end up being a starter, hopefully, going into the end of the season, going into next season. So he'll be a more regular starter, I think, in the future. Then on the other wing, Josh Sims, no surprises there. Absolutely tank. Did amazing stuff when he came on. Like I said in the Sunderland review, the second half, we looked better when John came off, when Gomez came off, and we brought on Josh Sims and John Bostock. We looked so much better. It was that calibre of talent. And that's what I mean. Magic Gomez is nowhere near his prime years yet, so he's still got time to develop over the next couple of years. Cameron John, still a young lad, still needs time to develop. John Bostock's a veteran, experienced player. Sims is that championship quality player. These are the kind of teams we need to be putting out if we're going to get the title or get automatic promotion to the championship this season. And we're still in a good place to do that. If Peterborough drop points, if Portsmouth drop points, if Lincoln and Hull drop points, we could slip inside that top two, especially since we've got Hull on Saturday. So it's a very big week for Rovers. And it'll help define our season as well as the next few games as well. So Sims on the right, no surprises there at all. And then up front, I've gone with Omar Bogle. Now, the reason why I've gone with Omar Bogle is because of the Okunabiri-Bogle partnership. As soon as Okunabiri was moved onto the wing and Bogle came on against Fleetwood, even though Bogle missed a couple of chances that could have been taken better, it made Okunabiri look better, and it brought that hunger in Omar Bogle. I could see he wants a goal, and we can get it out of him. We just need to start him, and that partnership, along with Sims on the opposite side to Okunabiri, it will work. It will work. It will create goals. Look at what Sunderland did. And bear in mind, Bogle's quite a tall guy. I'm not too sure exactly how tall Omar Bogle is, but I know from what I've seen from him on the match, I know he's quite a tall guy. I think I might have it written down somewhere. I think, yeah, 6'3". So he's a very tall guy. He's a tall striker. And you look at what Sunderland did with their goals, with the Charlie White combination, with Aidan McGeady. Look at what we could do here with Okunabiri and Bogle. Okunabiri and Sims make the crosses, Bogle heads it in, or volleys it in, or someone else gets in, like Richards. By the way, Taylor Richards, congratulations on getting Soccer AM's Meg Nuts of the Week last week. Last weekend he got the Meg Nuts of the Week, so very, very well done to Taylor Richards for that honour. But yeah, Okunabiri and Sims make the crosses, Omar Bogle finishes it in the box. My only concern with Omar Bogle, if we're going to play that, if we're going to stylise the attacks that way, get it into the wings, get the crosses in, get Omar Bogle's head on it, or get someone else's head or volley on it. My only concern with Bogle then is don't play so deep as a striker. Don't play like a false nine when you're about to get a cross in the box. Be right there, be ready and willing to physically head the ball and go for the ball. Don't be afraid to go for it. And then looking on the bench, Lewis Jones, Cameron John, AJ Greaves, Scott Robertson, Magic Gomez, Jason Lakilo, and John Taylor. Now, a couple of them might be carrying knocks. I did see about that report. A couple of people are carrying knocks and will be assessed. I'm not too sure who they mean. I mean, comment down below if you know or heard anything. But I don't know who they're hearing about. So I'm just going off my team prediction based off of, you know, not hearing about those couple of knocks that will be assessed today and going before tomorrow's game and looking at it from that perspective. So that's what team I go for. I mean, some people will agree with that. Some people will be like, well, why don't we play Cameron John at centre-back? I get that, and then right at right back, and if you're going to play Halliday on the wings with Sims on the left, and, you know, have Cameron John at centre-back, right at right back, Halliday on the wing, Sims on the opposite wing, and things like that. I do get that, but in my personal opinion, out-and-out goalkeeper, out-and-out fullbacks, out-and-out centre-backs, out-and-out midfielders, out-and-out cam, out-and-out wingers, because let's face it, Okunabiri is a winger, as well as a versatile striker forward, or not even striker, just a versatile forward that scores lots of goals. So you got out-and-out wingers / wide forwards, and you got an out-and-out striker now. So it's people in their normal positions that can play their right positions. Because if we get this team together, we run it like clockwork. And, you know, like I said, I think that maybe we could see Greaves off the bench and Coppinger on the bench. Maybe we could see that. I wouldn't rule that out entirely. I don't think Coppinger will come straight on in the second half. I think maybe he'll get 20 minutes run out just to see how he goes. And maybe that's who we replace Richards with. Maybe Richards comes off for James Coppinger, but you never know. But overall, that is what I would personally do with that team. I wouldn't risk Coppinger at least on the bench, but I think they'll probably do that. I think Greaves will go off the bench, and I think Coppinger will be on it. Finally then, score prediction. Now, Accrington is a tough game. I'm not going to lie to you here. Accrington's a tough game because they're high scoring, they can come at you, and it's going to be a battle from start to finish. 110%. Unless they don't turn up, it's going to be a battle from start to finish. Unless we don't turn up. Unless we turn up and they turn up, it's going to be... Well, unless we don't turn up and they don't turn up, it's going to be a battle from start to finish. Either way it goes. So, obviously I'm going to predict a win because I back my team 110%. But it won't be easy. So I'm going to go with a... I think we'll recover. I think we'll go with a 3-1 win. I was thinking 2-1, but maybe we'll get an extra goal from somewhere. So, in terms of goal scorers, it's anyone's guess. I mean, Taylor Richards probably will get on the act. Maybe Reece James gets one. Maybe Wright could get one from a corner, like head it in from a corner into the bottom corner or something. Maybe Okunabiri gets a goal. Maybe Bogle could get his first goal in Rovers colours. I'd like to see Simios on the bench if there's a knock to Lakilo or Taylor. If they're one of the two players carrying knocks and they get assessed today and maybe they're not quite fit enough for the bench. So maybe we'd like to see, because obviously Simios is like is the lonely that's ended up missing out. So it should be interesting to see where how many times he's going to play now for the rest of this season. So. Very interesting stuff there, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. Stay tuned tomorrow night for the match review from Accrington, and then stay tuned on Friday for the preview going into the whole match. And for now, guys, my name is Aaron Chandler from Forever Football DRSC. Again, shout out to all the people that I interacted with yesterday. Lee Charles TV, Cod's Vlogs, Dawn the Nottingham Forest fan, Sheffield Wednesday fan as well, Ryan Dunbar's dad, the analyst for Scottish football, lovely guy. Shout out to Terry, Kendall, David, Jem. I also get in contact with some other people from Football Terrace. So Tans, Spurs fan, thank you very much for watching. Apparently I'm quite popular on the Football Terrace, so it's nice to get that response. And also shout out to Robbie and everyone at AFTV, Cecil, James, DT, Ty, Lee, James, Charlene, Pippa, all the guys and girls at AFTV. Really do appreciate it. And for now, guys, my name is Aaron Chandler from Forever Football DRFC. Keep living the Rovers life, and that, my friends, is full time. Rovers till I die. Let's get 3 more points.